So what is a high ankle sprain? Is it has the same term with the atypical ankle sprain? However, the high ankle sprain itself, it's not frequently happen, but high ankle sprain are quietly challenging lower extremity injuries for the athletes and also for clinicians. So the epidemiologic data suggests that high ankle sprain account from 11 until 70% of the ankle sprain in athletic population. And approximately 10% of the ankle fracture, there is a concomitant syndesmotic injury. Based on its anatomy itself, the typical ankle sprain will occur in ATFL and also CFL ligament. While the high ankle sprain will affect the ITFL, intraosseous membrane, and also transverse tibiofibular ligament. For the pathomechanism, the most common mechanism injury is force of the external rotation of the foot and ankle while fixed or planted. And the second and less common mechanism is a hyperdorsiflexion condition. Based on this pathoanatomy, the injury was consists of two disruption. The first is incomplete disruption, that the anterior portion of the AITFL may be partially or completely torn, and it happened in an external rotation mechanism. Since only the AITFL may be disruption, so the X-ray remain normal, and but the patient will come to us with difficulty pushing off and weight bearing. While the complete disruption, the patient will come to us because of the instability, because it's less stable, and the X-ray will show us the mortise widening. In the complete disruption, the ITFL and intraosseous membrane or deltoid may be affected. The sign and symptoms, the patient will come to us with complaint of the persistent ankle pain, also swelling and bruising. Based on it can be based on the injury, and difficulty with uneven surfaces, and also sensation of ankle giving way. And also the patient will complain about the stiffness and limited dorsiflexion, and also pain on palpation at the syndesmosis area. The diagnosis of the high ankle sprain is quite difficult and controversial. This is several maneuvers that we can perform to physical diagnose if we have the patient with high ankle sprain. First, the stress test consists of the Cotton test and also fibular translation test, and also the patient will come with the tenderness on the syndesmosis area. While the stabilization test, that means the positive result when the patient came to us and we perform the tapping, and the patient feel the pain is relieved, and also the ankle more stable in walking or running. The imaging itself can help us to diagnose high ankle sprain as on plain X-ray with stress view X-ray. First, we can perform the external rotation stress radiograph and also gravity stress view. And we can compare to the contralateral ankle X-ray. For the plain X-ray, the parameters that we can use to see the plain X-ray, if we suggest there is a high ankle sprain, if the tibiofibular overlap is more than 6 mm in AP view, and also more than 1 mm in mortise view. While the tibiofibular clear space is less than 6 mm in AP and mortise view. In normally, medial clear space have the same widen with the superior clear space. But when the patient has, that we suggest the patient have a syndesmosis injury, so the medial clear space will be widened than superior clear space. Or we can measure that the medial clear space is more than 4 mm. The MRI will also help us that MRI has been shown to be highly sensitive and specific to injuries of the distal tibiofibular ligaments, and it has demonstrated excellent agreement among the readers. And moreover, MRI provide insight into the extent of the ankle injury and help to identify concomitant injuries to other structure of the ankle. For the non-operative treatment, we can is indication for the acute injury without instability and if we found no fracture. There are three phases that approach for the non-operative treatment. First phase is during 1 until 3 days, we can perform the rest, ice compression, and also elevation of the ankle. And then if the patient relieve the pain, we can ask the patient to walk in functional brace and also perform the physiotherapy. The function of the physiotherapy is to prevent the joint mobilization and also strength training, and also restoration of basic ankle function. The third phase is neuromuscular control training and also proprioceptive exercise. This is a surgical option to treat the high ankle sprain. In acute condition, we can perform the joint preserving. While in chronic condition, we can perform the joint sacrificing or fusion. In subacute, it remains controversial for the treatment, but generally speaking, the joint preserving is still mainly treatment for this condition. Surgical option for the acute condition, we can perform the screw fixation for 9 until 12 weeks, and we can remove it prior full wet wearing, prior to full wet wearing. And we have to check first, is there any instability by perform the Catan test and any other physical examination. For the chronic condition, we can perform the synostosis or fusion by using a compression screw, and we find we check it with the radiology if there are any synostosis joint, so we can perform remove the screw. In subacute condition, there are several conditions that can be considered as we choose the surgery treatment. The first, adequate remnant. If we found the adequate remnant, so we can perform the suturing of the ligament and also screw placement. And if we find inadequate remnant, so the ligamentoplasty and also screw placement is the choice for the treatment. If we found the ligament is still intact but it's lack, so the osteotomy and translation of the ligament will be a good treatment to this condition. This is our case review that performed by me and Dr. Andri as my mentor. This is a male 31 years old with post-ankle fracture fixation after 3 months with a syndesmostic disruption. He came to us with chronic instability and also painful during wet bearing. So we checked the X-ray examination, and we found there is a widening of the medial clear space and also widening of the tibiofibular overlap. In this patient, we performed the syndesmosis reduction with a screw placement. Second case is male 26 years old with chronic syndesmosis disruption and deltoid rupture after perform the RIF of the fibula. In this patient, we perform also syndesmotic reduction and also screw placement and deltoid ligament reconstruction. So here's the operation. We perform the medial cutter debridement, and after that, we make a reduction the syndesmosis joint, and then we perform the bioscrew placement between the tibia and fibula, and then we perform the deltoid ligament deconstruction using a auto and allograft. In these cases, we perform with the hamstring ligament. There are some controversies during the treatment of the high ankle sprain. First is the screw placement, when it should be the 1 centimeter proximal to syndesmosis or 4 centimeter to the ankle joint. But both of these has the same result from the several research. That the screw inserted recortices except Weber B, that the function is to preservation of the external rotation and also to prevent a screw breakage. We can use a 3.5 or 4.5 cortical screw, and the result is quite similar, but it depends on the bone size. And we put the screw posterolateral to anteromedial 25 to 30 degree. For the screw removal, removal is better when we prior to full weight bearing, and generally speaking was 9 until 12 weeks. When we use bioabsorbable screw, the advantage was the screw was not need to be removed, and we can also perform the suture button to decrease stress on the device or may prevent the arthritic changes. And also anatomic mobility, quick return to weight bearing with less risk of the osteolysis. As a conclusion, the cognition of syndesmosis injury is essential to avoid long-term morbidity. With treatment-oriented classification is mandatory, and subacute injuries may require ligamentoplasty. Chronic lesions are best treated by fusion. Thank you for the opportunity